We are alike, Otto. We are not alike, Otto. I have never known true vilification, Otto, but I have stood outside Poundland with a man in Seeker Lights who claims he is Jesus or Leslie Grantham. Otto, I drew my ego for you. I too am an anarchist, Otto, but an anarchist who is terrified of his line manager, Otto. I am repressed, Otto, and you are not repressed, Otto. But I have paused outside Silver Lady Sauna and pondered the precise meaning of sundries, Otto. Otto, I drew my death drive for you. Otto, Otto, there are no filthy desires, Otto, just desires, Otto, like the desire to pick blackberries or to meet Anne Widdecombe, Otto. Otto, I drew a blackberry for you. Otto, Otto, you had no secrets, Otto, but I have secrets, Otto, like the secrets I keep in this box, Otto. I have never been in an asylum, Otto, but I've seen a chair of terrible orange as cheap cheese is orange, Otto. Swiss cheese, Otto. I've never been to Vienna, Otto, but I've heard all about those remarkable pastries. I was quite into Ardy Lang, Otto, for about 6 months when I was about 22, Otto. I was living in Cumbria at that time, Otto. That's true. I've known a strain of madness, Otto, like the birds in the hedgerow singing Rock Me Amadeus, Otto. Otto, I drew my slow but steady sexual decline for you. I've never lived in a commune, Otto, and I've seen mozzarella in a shared fridge, Otto, as milky as the milky moon is milky, Otto. Otto, I drew the milky moon for you. Otto, I drew some mozzarella for you. I've never read any of your books all the way through, Otto, but I've watched the trailer for that film on YouTube, Otto. The one with Monica Bellucci's former husband, Otto. She's the oldest Bond girl ever, Otto. Otto, I downloaded a picture of Monica Bellucci for you. I too have had pneumonia, Otto. I caught it in Copenhagen, Otto. I was over there for work, Otto. Opiates and alcohol, Otto, Nurofen Plus and Carlsberg, Otto. I watched German television in my room, Otto. There was a woman dressed as a milkmaid, Otto. Otto. You had respect for the sovereign freedom of human beings, Otto, Otto, as I do, Otto. Like when people on the Manchester Metrolink brush me gently with their rucksacks, Otto. I was once banned from the Civic Centre for unauthorised use of the service lift, Otto. Sometimes I dream I am falling down a lift shaft, Otto. Sometimes I dream I am trapped in a ball pool, Otto. And the spheres are all mystical, Otto. Otto, I drew a lift shaft for you. Otto, I drew 2 mystical spheres for you. Sometimes I dream I am Michael Fassbender, Otto. Sometimes I dream I am Vincent Cassel, Otto. Sometimes I dream I am Leon Britton, Otto. Sometimes I dream I am the artist formerly known as Prince and now known again as Prince, Otto. What do these dreams mean, Otto? Otto, I asked a question, Otto. You saw body and mind as one, Otto. You said that each physical process is at the same time a psychological one, Otto. My body and mind are sometimes separate, Otto. Like when I pick up the mango chutney instead of the lime pickle, Otto. You were sexually liberated, Otto. I am not sexually liberated, Otto. I did once put my hand on a woman's knee in a Chinese restaurant, Otto. She did not particularly like it, Otto. We were eating deep-fried milk balls, Otto. Otto, I drew a deep-fried milk ball for you. You once shared a railway carriage with Kafka, Otto. I've never shared a railway carriage with Kafka, Otto. But I once saw Stephen Hendry in Argos, Otto. He was the youngest ever snooker world champion at the age of 21, Otto. He introduced the now universal tactic of potting the blue with pace and bottom spin on the white ball to cannon into the pack of reds and develop them for break building, Otto. He was buying an MDF computer desk, Otto. Otto, I drew a blue ball for you. You said that the psychology of the unconscious is the philosophy of revolution, Otto. My unconscious mind is provincial, Otto. When I took magic mushrooms, I had a vision, Otto. It was of a man on a mound in Skelmersdale, Otto. Otto, I drew a mound for you. Skelmersdale is a town in West Lancashire, Otto. You and Jung psychoanalysed each other, Otto. You once did it for 24 hours straight, Otto. You should have done it for charity, Otto. Like when firemen sit in baked beans, Otto. You terminated the 24-hour psychoanalysis session with Jung by jumping over the wall, Otto. I once jumped over a wall, Otto. You put an end to my career in tap dancing, Otto. It's why I shun the full-length mirror, Otto. It's why I ride an elliptical bicycle, Otto. Otto, I drew the wheel of an elliptical bicycle for you. You'd expect the wheel of an elliptical bicycle to look like this. The wheel of an elliptical bicycle actually looks like this, Otto. Austrian writer Anton Kuh wrote of you as a man known only to very few by name, apart from a handful of psychiatrists and secret policemen, and among those few only to those who plucked his feathers to adorn their own posteriors, Otto. But it turns out there are other Otto Grosses, Otto. I have looked them up on Google, Otto. There is Otto L. Gross Senior Otto, who you can watch on YouTube, delivering a presentation called Leadership Based on Situations, Otto. He has 0 likes and 0 dislikes, Otto. There is Superintendent Otto Gross, pastor of the Fountain of Life Community, Otto. You can watch him on YouTube too, Otto. He has 107 views, Otto. You could lose yourself in Otto Gross's Otto. You could lose yourself, Otto. Thank you.